Yeah, well, I mean, I think in New York, where I come from, that probably is true. I think that for the most elite college students, by the way, this is applying to maybe a few hundred people in the world, not to the mass market, that joining an accelerator where you can get $100,000 and you can get a 3 to 6 month education, maybe even get an exit if you get promoted correctly and get to a Series A, it's worth it. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, you know, what the hell? You go to business school and you probably have a great essay for your business school application. And I think in New York, there are so many accelerators that, like you said, if you were just a pure investor in an accelerator without a strategic purpose, I think it's a really tough business model. And I think, you know, 3 of us up here, 4 of us up here are strategics. I think that even Nielsen, I think we can survive in that environment in New York by differentiating ourselves with what we bring to the table, not just in terms of the capital, but in terms of the way that we're going to evaluate products and how quickly they can be brought to market and how they can be introduced to our clients. And interestingly enough, in Israel, I think, you know, Israel is startup nation. And so you're thinking, well, all these incubators or accelerators in Israel are filled up with kids that have just graduated from the Technion. I think it's actually the furthest thing from the truth. Most of the incubators and accelerator programs in Israel are filled with veterans who have done 1, 2, 3, 4 startups. And in our incubator in Caesarea, I would say, I don't know, most of them, if not all of them, are older folks that have had, you know, real jobs in corporate life, have done 1 or 2 startups and maybe had a moderate exit, and we love getting them like that. So I at least here, I don't see it the same way.
Okay, anyone else on disrupting VC model, disrupting business schools?
Again, it's this is young industry. And everything is changing. And
YC started in 2005.
Yeah,
so
we also started in 2005, and always, again, it's up to the ecosystem.
There was no Facebook.
Of course,
was no.
It was just starting Facebook, but
well,
it's so
fast.
It's so fast. It's so fast, and VCs are going to stay in place as it is for a certain space of the startup. But we have the school, and the education is completely. It's going to be completely disrupted because it doesn't work, of course. And I see accelerators as an interesting touch point with the education and with the market because it's where you make the things for real. So creating Gate Farm, we felt the necessity to create an education program for entrepreneurs. Yeah. And they, young, because even 19 or 20 years old, they can really jump and starting doing things for real. Of course, you cannot, it's pretty what Dave said, you know, it's don't invest for 2 years, that money comes here, give you the money. This is really, that's a bit extreme, so you really need to study, but it's not like in the past that you need to study up to 26, 27 years old.
I think you guys are supposed to start dancing just by the
fucking killing light. It's killing my eyes. There's something interesting about that, is that we all know that all the great startuppers, all the great entrepreneurs have left school before ending their courses. But our kids will have to learn all their lives, and they will probably have to be students till they die. That's pretty different than people from our age, where we went to school, we left school, and we don't learn anymore. They will have to learn because the world is changing so fast. If they don't teach, they are not taught, they will probably go out.
Yeah.
You have also more and more universities having in their educational program think what you could do, try to launch your startup. And for example, in the Orange Fab France, the first season, it was So it started in February, and we selected 7 startups, and 2 of the 7 startups, 2 out of those 7 startups were founded by students from a business school in France, and they launched the startup, in fact, when they were at school, and it was part of their educational program, but it became a real startup, and we did very well with them. We had partnership with 2 of those startups. We invested in one of them, and they did a great job. So I'm not sure we have to oppose those 2 programs, because they are more and more linked.
And they will probably disrupt preschool, because my kid that is 8 years old just got a kids coding club, 8 years old. Maybe he'll create a startup at 8.5.
So let me ask you, I want to steer up this conversation a little bit. And how many are entrepreneurs here in the audience? A good bunch of entrepreneurs, great. Why should they pick to work with any one of you, myself? So why, can you pitch? You tell them why should they come and do anything with Havas in your program or with Nielsen? You want to start?
Okay. I love saying why people would want to come to us, but the reality is that our process is self-selective. If the startup that you have isn't really related to media measurement, internet measurement, or ad tech, consumer behavior, it's probably not going to be a fit for you. You're probably not going to get a benefit out of the program, so you'll probably self-select us away. But I think that if you do have a choice and you do fall into those markets, what we offer is the ability to provide on-site mentoring in space, plus the real differentiator, I think, for us is the ability to broaden your horizons beyond Israel from the beginning. We immediately activate people in the United States and other markets and introduce you to clients that are outside of Israel, which I think is something that Israeli entrepreneurs struggle with.
Do you provide any cash?
Oh yeah, well, first of all, as part of the incubator program, the Chief Scientist program is quite generous. It's actually one of the model programs in the world. The typical deal is $600,000 USD, 2 million shekels. It gets spaced out over time, but we have modeled into our business plan a certain amount of follow-on funding, bridge gap funding, and convertible loans and things like that. And we love to fund businesses that are making inroads in the United States.
So it's if it's in the areas of expertise of Nielsen, and it's you get funding as well. You get space in a beautiful
Caesarea.
In Caesarea.
It's a spectacular space, by the way.
And you give equity, right? Through the chief scientist, through the program.
We get and we give.
Yeah. The startups, they give equity.
Correct.
Great. Anyone else that seems like a great offer? So
I would say the reason why we would love to work with you is that we believe that human relationship is key, even if your technology or your business is wrong. We will carry on working with you because we're sure that we will succeed. And that's how we work at Havas. Human nature is key. And then, let's speak about business. We're in 120 countries, and per country we have more than 300 clients.
But is there
300 opportunities to connect you to business.
Is there a selection process to get engaged in your program?
No, basically we hear and we listen. We connect with all the startups that the people, the PhDs in each lab scouts, and there's no real process. It's a long time process. You may be wrong this year and maybe right next year. People are really important, not the technology itself, not the business itself. We truly believe in people.
Okay. You're launching a program tonight, right?
Yes, we are.
Why should these people come later tonight and sign up for the Orange Fab?
Yes, please. So we are launching our program tonight, so the Orange Fab Israel program. And so we will launch it in Sosa, because this program will take place in Sosa. And so if you are working in the digital space, smart home, smart city, ELC, education, security also, because it's very important. And if you want to reach the European market or the African market, please come to us, because we will be able to connect you to our business unit within Orange Group, but also with the business unit of our partners. And we have a partnership with Deutsche Telekom. I think Axel and Min are somewhere in this room, because Deutsche Telekom has also runs his acceleration program, so ABROM, and so we exchange the deal flow of startups. So startups from the Orange Fab program have access to the opcos of Deutsche Telekom and reversely, and so our footprint are very complementary. So that's all Europe except Italy, but for Italy we have Maurizio.
Here. And is there a selection process to get?
And the selection process is really to have one of our business units on board, really willing to have to work on a partnership with a startup during the 3 months acceleration program. So that's the selection process, really the willingness to have this partnership during the acceleration program.
Maurizio, you should show pictures of the space. People will come.
Yeah, if you want to do in Italy, you must pass only through H5, number one. So there's no other alternatives. It's going to make sense to come in H-Farm, come in Italy, first of all, is because of the design. It designed a number of related verticals from fashions and many others are now getting the technology. So this is a new space, interesting space, so this is the first reason. More specific about H-Farm, our program, the accelerator program is, I don't explain details because more or less are similar, but we deliver a full boarding. So for the 3 or 4 months, we have a treatment like a campus. And among the important points to come in H-Farm is that only not just looking for the Series A or the follow-on money, but there is a lot of support in terms of reaching the business with the companies. And this is a very important point, especially for all those companies going to be B2B or B2B2C. This is an element which is not easy to get access to this market. So this is one interesting point that H-Farm has. So anyone who wants to come in Italy to apply for this space are welcome.
And it comes with good wine and pasta and lots
of
good stuff.
Of course. Enjoy the life. It's like here in Tel Aviv. You have to enjoy the life.
In Venice, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
So if you don't mind, I'll just add our side of the mix. So we actually have a pretty rigorous selection process. Most of our accelerators are general. They don't have a specific theme. People don't have to run on Microsoft technology. Many people ask. They actually don't have to be in any specific area that we have a business in Microsoft that we're specifically interested. It's a 4 months program. It's a very mentor-heavy program, and for us the proof is in the pudding. We're at globally at about 80% follow-on funding. Actually, Israel is higher, and our average is $1.9 million follow-on funding for our graduates. So, and we had 13 exits. So we're letting the results of the startups talk for themselves, and I won't get into all the things that are in the program. We're currently running in Israel, we started last week, a medical batch together with Becton Dickinson, and a cybersecurity batch together with Akamai. So the medical, it's Becton Dickinson and HealthBox, which is the investment house and an accelerator group from the US, and in cyber, it's Akamai and the JVP. And in Seattle, we run an IoT accelerator together with American Family, which is a big insurance company in the US. Let me ask you, Maurizio, you're the only person that yet have not opened an Israeli accelerator. We're still waiting to get Venice in Israel. But until that point, all of you decided, and you said it's a new decision for you, and tonight you're launching your program here, and it was the first program for Nielsen actually started here. It was the first one for Microsoft to start here. I wonder why. First of all, how come? How come this is the first place? Or maybe, Frédéric, for you, as you operate programs in so many other places, what's the difference that you find of doing something here versus in other places? And so, a very Israel-specific question.
My answer would be this one. There are, for me, three major innovation places in the world, which are Seoul in South Korea, Los Angeles, and Tel Aviv. Why is that? Because they are key cultural places. Culture is really important here. They are really important in terms of university and academic people and research, and they are pretty well connected. So people are really connected, they talk to each other, they share a lot, and in those three places, I find something that I don't find any place else. I'm Brazilian, I could have done this in Rio de Janeiro, but I don't. So I think those three places, I may open one also in Africa, but I haven't found the place yet.
But when you talk about these three places, how do they differ? What's the difference? What is different here than in these other places?